Hello, Kavita Mathur. Welcome to the channel Kahanis Golden Bytes. Thank you for taking out your time to be on the channel, Kavita.
Thank you, Joby, for having me over. It's lovely to be here.
Thank you, Kavita. Thank you so much. Kavita, for the benefit of our viewers, may I please request you to give a little bit about your background as a reference, Kavita?
Sure, absolutely delighted to. Well, for the last 25 plus years, I've been doing very, very mundane work, but I enjoy it the most. It's part of the corporate workforce and have been for the last 25 plus years, largely in the area of human resources, done multiple roles across corporate HR and consulting. And at present, I head the HR for a tier one law firm by the name Trilegal in India.
Fantastic. Fantastic, Kavita. So you've got, you know, solid experience right across so many industries, Kavita. I mean, that is so broad and rich. You've been in consulting, which means you've also worked with so many different industries too in that role. Right, Kavita?
Yes, absolutely. It's been a very interesting journey, and each role I would say has come with a very varied experience for me. And what is most interesting, while I might have said mundane at the beginning, but what has been really most interesting is dealing with human behavior, and more because no two humans are ever alike. So how do so that it's a very interesting conundrum in the realms and in the framework of organizations policies and programs. How do you make sure that there's a place for each and every person in the organization, because everyone matters?
Given the depth of your experience, Kavita, uh, did it involve travel too, or were you, stationary in one place? And I don't mean that in any negative manner, but did it involve travel too, Kavita?
As a matter of fact, yes, in both my corporate HR roles and in consulting, of course. So, my family would jokingly say, "Mom," and my children would say, "Mom, you've got wheels on your feet. You're always on the go." But yes, travel was significant, especially in the consulting days, as I used to, be an international consultant and, as a management consultant, traveled across Asia, Middle East. As a matter of setup, the Middle East practice for, Hewitt Associates, which is now Aon in India. So it's been a very, very varied, extremely enriching, not just from a professional standpoint, but just the ability to understand cultures, people, and how people adapt to different cultures. It's really amazing. So that diversity of experience is been an absolutely amazing journey, and thanks to the corporates I work for.
So, Kavita, you've traveled extensively. Your job was so demanding. And then you have the family joking, about the wheels part of it. So it was all, just demanding of your time. Okay. I mean, it comes out so clearly, so evident. You joke, at this moment, but, it's taken, plenty of time out of you. And so, Kavita, so this topic that I'm speaking to you about is on hobbies and interests. So Kavita, given all the demand for your time by the corporate sector and then rightfully, your family, did you have any time at all? I'm sorry, I'm putting you in a spot probably, but did you have any time at all for any kind of, relaxation or hobbies or interests? Did you have any interests that you could follow through, during that time, Kavita?
So the thing about me was, and there were two ways of looking at the same situation, and which is always the case, right?
Sure.
You take it up as something which is being pushed upon you, or you take it up by choice. And when it is the latter, you learn to manage and manage it seamlessly. So it's really about how you look at things, which side of the coin that you look at it from, which lens you put on to look at the situation. And therefore I don't think I ever felt that it was becoming strenuous. Of course, I must say that the support I got from my parents, particularly, especially when I was in a traveling role, is I can't even begin to describe it in words and put it in the words, because it was tremendous. So to say that I did it on my own and I'm that superwoman clearly is fooling myself. I think it's been a lot I owe to my parents, to my extended family, the kind of support they were, the calm and ease with which they supported, when the children were growing up.
So, Kavita, you've rightfully, and humbly, acknowledged the help of the extended family and your immediate family too. Uh, so, given that, Kavita, so did you have no? I mean, you obviously didn't have time for any interests. So
Well,
that
not
got
I,
left. Did that get
not
all left behind?
not at all. I would not think so. Even while I was traveling, there was so much one was observing,
Mhm.
right? Just my keenness for people, for the human mind,
Mhm.
uh, understanding culture. So that was one passion I always continued, and I was something that was easy for me to continue with. And and now when the children are grown up, I suddenly realized there was this latent interest in just being connected with nature that drew me into doing something special, which I've actually taken up. And I don't believe, despite my extremely, what should I say, tight timelines and the work requirements from the organization, it's not to say I haven't been able to manage both. I think I'm enjoying both, and really enjoying both parts of what I do, the passion bit and the professional bit. I think it's all coming together very well. I don't know how, but I guess if there is a passion, uh, nature finds its way, people find the right way, and find the balance and the ability to manage both.
So tell me, Kavita, the nature part of it, have you been able to take that further, your love for nature and things like that? Have you had the uh,
Yes, I did.
mhm.
And of course, just from the point of pottering around the house to taking a decision and taking one step forward, I decided to take a piece of land and try commercial farming. And so
Carry on, please.
that's what I did. And especially during the COVID times, one had the advantage of working from home, and there was a definite time that all of us have managed to save. The time that we would take to travel to our offices. So I saw that as an opportunity, and I said, instead of sitting and idling around at home, why don't I put this time to use and pursue my passion? So that's what actually helped me in, doing what I've always wanted to do. Yeah, if that answers your question.
So Kavita, I'm not satisfied yet. I need to know more. So you mentioned commercial, uh, you know, a bit about commercial. You spoke about time, spoke about savings, saving travel time. So what's all this? Can you just help me understand that a little better, Kavita?
I think so. Savings, so if you was on time
Right.
and utilizing that for pursuing my interest in farming is how I've kind of brought it all together. I started very recently. I took up 1 acre land, and I wanted to see. It was a barren piece of land with nothing which was cultivated on it for nearly a couple of years. So it was arid. I took it up. I said, why don't I try? What can be worse? That I end up not being able to grow even a single twig, right? So from there to just very about a week back, having harvested the best crop in all that village area, was I can't even describe to you, the joy of seeing that flourish. Nature in its abundance is how I would describe the joy.
So, Kavita, you are talking about farming, you're talking about harvest. So so you use that land for farming, Kavita?
That's right. That's right. I was growing wheat that on that 1 acre, and from what I understand, the yield has been the highest in the village.
So let me just
So
get this right. You are working full time in HR. You take a piece of land and not, to grow flower pots. And I don't mean, that is not good or not important, but you move further, you take up a piece of land and you start farming. So, I mean, how is that even? Okay, you spoke about your passion. So tell me, how did you get into farming, Kavita? How was it possible? I mean, you're not working in a agricultural research institute where, on the side, yes, you were learning all of this. Tell me more,
yeah.
Kavita,
Yeah.
please.
Of course, I mean it wouldn't be fair to it would be a lie, in fact, to say that I didn't have to do my reading. Of course, I had to do a lot of reading. I had to not just reading. I had to actually engage with the local farmers there. I had to speak to them to understand, intuitively. So just trying to relate to, people. It's one thing to say that you're a foreigner in a village, right? There is a lot of. It's not very easy to adjust into into village, because they're very close knit society, right? And the culture is very different. And somebody like me or you, Joby, will always be looked at as an outsider, and there's always a degree of contempt and doubt when you move into their culture, into their space. But having said that, I think what helped me to just understand the place was to understand the culture. So my education, my training, and my working with people was really put to use, I would say. And once I had built that connect, I can't even begin to tell you how nice the villagers were. They were all there to support, give ideas, give suggestions, and it was more collaborative, Joby. The villagers would come, we would literally sit in a chopal and talk about what to do, So, of course, all masked and what have you, but just the spirit of coming together. And I think it became such a happy project because everybody was getting involved, you know so that's what really helped, and I think that happiness percolated into the soil, and we got what we got.
So this is just fantastic, Kavita. You have, you know, thrown the stereotypes that were, in my head. You've thrown it out completely. You're a working professional who has taken up a very different line altogether from from your corporate life, but you know, use all of that experience and use that to further work with the entire, the village that you were there with. And what was the crop that you grew, Kavita?
Yeah, the most controversial of them all, wheat.
Wheat.
Yeah.
And these are not flowers, huh? I mean, these are just, oh my, oh my. Okay, so this is wheat.
This is wheat. So it's of course, and with all the controversies around MSP and what have you, I said that doesn't matter. The idea is to actually roll up your sleeve if you want to do something. And at the end of it, really what matters is the intentionality of, if you do things with the right intention, I think all the positive forces, the vectors come together and things start to happen then. So I think that's been my learning through this entire 1 year journey.
Kavita, we were supposed to have this call, a little earlier, and we couldn't, have it. But you were at the farm at that time. I
Yes,
recall you mentioning. So, what happened at that time? If you could just share with the viewers, Kavita.
So, yes, of course, Joby, we were supposed to connect on that particular day,
Yeah.
but then I was in the midst of the farm. I had never even known how to harvest the crop, you know. So I was in this spot in the middle of the field with harvesters, in that guzzling sound. So the beauty was when these entire bundles of wheat get going in through the harvester. From one side, these brilliant golden grains falling out, and on the other side the chaff. Just the sight was enthralling. I mean, I think there was drama, there was beauty in that entire 1 hour that it took to kind of harvest the crop. It was beautiful. That's where I was, and apologies we couldn't speak earlier.
You know, I asked this question very purposely, not to hear apology in any form or manner, but for the viewer to understand how real you are and how involved you are, in what you're doing. You've
Thank you.
committed yourselves, and that's how real it is. I'm longing to come then, once COVID is over, I'm going to be there. I'm going
Most
to be there.
definitely. Day before yesterday, just as reference, I've planted, we cleared the entire field, made sure we don't burn the crop, the stubs. So we've plowed the field and we've sown black gram now. So as soon as the shoots come out, I promise to have you come over to our farm.
Wow. I'm looking forward to this, Kavita. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And Kavita, it's absolutely amazing. I'm so glad you could take out, some of your time from such a busy schedule. You're such a wonderful role model for so many people.
I also want to, sorry, I'm just, coming in, but I do also want to share this that while wheat was the main crop, Joby, I also, since I had a patch of, land still vacant, so we planted turnips there. And lo and behold, we had a bumper over about 80 or 100 kilos. So, not knowing what to do with it, I harvested the entire crop and we gave it to a not-for-profit. It's old age home. My father used to patronize that, so we went and gave away the fresh vegetables at this not-for-profit. It's called Earth Saviors.
Amazing, Kavita. I'm short on words, Kavita. Honestly, uh, remarkably, your corporate life. I'm just, I'm not rushing through that. It's deep. It's very rich. But see what you're doing now. It's amazing. It's amazing, and you're connected with the people, with society, and now you also mentioned, the NGO that you're working with. You carry on working with, something that your father and your family was involved with.
Yes.
So that's just beautiful to hear, Kavita. I'm so glad, Kavita, you've taken out time to be on this call. Our viewers are really going to benefit from this, and you're going to be motivating so many people who I and you have no idea are going to be listening to this. I can only thank you, Kavita, for taking out your time. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. It's a pleasure. Like I said, it's all, once the intention is, there and it's right, all the vectors seem to align. All the positive forces come together and make it happen. So
Lovely,
those
Kavita.
are the miracles of nature I've experienced.